This has me nervous. Yes. See, now, does this mean like all my progress was gone? It sure looks like all my progress is gone. Is now, what the fuck is up with my internet, man? It's not right. Something going wrong here. This is a story about a man named Stanley. If you guys didn't know.
This is the story of a man named
No, specifically they can suck a Stanley.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard.
All day long.
Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push,
Push
how long
what?
to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And
Totally could be.
Might have considered it so.
They can do both.
Stanley relished every
They can
moment
suck
that
a
the
lot.
orders came in, as though he had been made exactly.
And they do suck a lot.
And Stanley was happy.
Their current stuff is broken.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi.
Hi.
Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and
Are you
regained
familiar
his
with all the
senses,
tropes in this
he got
game,
up from his desk
Henny?
and stepped out of his office.
Have you played this game? Oh god. My shit is off, man. No bueno. You've played this game, Henny. You are familiar. I could sit in the office and that's just one ending.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed.
And I have my
Days.
phone.
Had years gone by? He
My
no longer had
stapler.
the ability to tell.
My pencil
But
sharpener.
the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt,
I
was
got
that if
my
he
money.
waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
So this is a story about a man named Stanley. If you haven't played the game before.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way. At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Are we sick of the gag, yes or no? What's your vote, Henny?
Then in that case, we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other option so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
So then you restart the game. You did this many times throughout playing this.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Yes.
Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just restart the game any old time you want. Like, right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain. There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly. But the truth must be told, he was not very old, and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable, and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong, and keep playing along, you too will become. You too will become quite unbearable.
That's great, man. Oh, come on. That's some funny stuff. Is there another verse? I have to go see Scrambles for a minute.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
See, yeah. See, no more bucket. What the fuck, man? They took away my bucket, man. My things all my stuff's gone, man. Grrr. Well, let's go get all my stuff again. What door was it? Oh, see, look. You can see it on my thing. On the screen. It's repeating itself. Why? No, it's gotta be this one.
Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the trophy?
There it is.
Click a door 5 times? Is that all you think a trophy is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now, suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition. I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly
50 clicks. Right.
No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this trophy to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way no matter the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417? Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437. Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so.
415,
Now, back to door number 437. Let's see. How about you click on, well, I don't know, the copy machine? All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere.
See, the game trolls you, and you gotta know when to troll the game back. 417.
Okay, now go climb on Employee 419's desk. Yes! This is great! You're putting it all on the line, Stanley. I like that. All right, let's keep it up. Go give me a few clicks on door 416. We've almost got it! Now the copy machine, do that one again!
He's so excited.
Finish it off, Stanley! 5 clicks on door 430! Yes! We did it! Oh, wow. That felt amazing.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you really earned it, Stanley. Nothing could hold you back. Yes, I'm very proud of how far we've come today.
My goodness. Oh, got that thing. Anyways. And the empty computers are a whole nother thing, so this is where it starts, guys. This is where it starts.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Chaos. So the narrator's telling me to go left. Which way do you go, left or right? You're familiar with the game. I'm sure most people are by now.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
No, he didn't.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
No, he didn't.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the... All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see.
This is what you
Help me
wanted.
here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours.
Help
What would have made
elucidate.
this game better?
Man.
What did you want to see?
Listen to him go.
Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so
Skill
far.
trees.
Tell you
Yes.
what,
Yes,
let
we
me
need
take a
skill
stab in the
trees.
dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
We sure will.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
The game benefited slightly.
Okay, so we're getting somewhere. Clearly there's something here that speaks to you. If I can be honest here, I really don't have any idea where I'm going with this. This whole third door thing was just a stab in the dark. But I guess you're into it, so let's keep this party train rolling. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Oh, see, look. Oh, now we have a leaderboard. Got the world leaderboard. And good old Neil is offline. He was able to do it in 2 seconds. Oh, goodness. Yes, chaos. This is... Uh-oh. Oh, now he wants
Now,
to...
would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
4.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Oh. Zip, zap, zang. There we go.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards
Cheers.
danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it a try? I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see.
Let's go play another game then. Okay. Fine.
Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
So what game did he load?
Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Oh man, he made a jump there, didn't he? Like, good grief, man. Another game I've wanted to own. Someday I'll buy this thing up too. Oh goodness. Look, it's big. There's all kinds of stuff out there.
Oh no. No, it can't be.
The narrator sounds worried, guys.
It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off. Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You nearly wandered off into that thing. That big open, just wandering around, no right or wrong directions, no path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay, I think this will be just the thing. Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed. Okay, so
phenomenally
what exactly do we do
impressed.
here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports
An entire
ball?
Stanley.
I think it's sports
I don't know if I'm going to do the
ball.
entire thing.
We shall run the bases and do a
I've
touchdown
played-
together.
I have at some
I
point
think
played
surely
all the
we
bits
must.
on stream.
Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
It's sports ball. Let's run the bases and score a touchdown.
Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Stanley, I have a thought. And I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw... Hold on. What are you doing?
Yes, that...
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
Yes, that absolutely was Rocket League. You play as Stanley. That's the narrator who is like all up in your business because he's the narrator. This is what the original game looked like. Because this used to be a test game. Laid over on top of... Oh gosh. Can't think of it right off the top of my head. Damn it. Yeah, there's the two doors. So I go back this way. Here's my office down here. Ah, here's my office. I speak like a movie announcer. Is that right? I find myself with kind of a lisp. I'm pretty sure that's all I gotta do is get in there. 427. Yep, there it goes.
I wonder
But
what
what's
he
the timing
found.
thing?
If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it, he'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
I can wait. Cheers. The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end. Yes, we'll get to that.
All of his co-workers was gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
I want to see what the other ending is when you jump off the...
This room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the
so many
first
little
open door on
branches.
his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
Really,
I
I'm
realize that
not.
investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story is... But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
My bad. Poor Stanley. Alright, let's get Stanley on his way here.
All of his co-workers was gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
See, so like you have the narrator, you can follow exactly what the narrator tells you to do. Or, what the fuck, man, that ain't right. Come across something freaky here, man. Because this is correct. And then it comes here, and then this is where the 2 doors are, but now there's something different. See that? And it's blue.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it about this room that called so deeply and so personally to Stanley? Its grace, its subtle charm. No. Stanley knew it was something deeper, something darker. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I should do that. No, let's do this.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
Because you guys saw the one side, let's do the other side.
I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you
100%.
that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really
No
do
book
want
has
to help
passed
you,
this
to
point.
show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley, oh thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop.
See how many right turns I've made?
So much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Isn't that great? They like to play with her brain.
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
Well, if you think this is something, I got some wild games,
No,
man.
wait. Where are you going?
Oh, he doesn't want me to leave. See, watch this. It's okay.
Right.
Yep.
Where were we?
Then I leave and he flips out.
Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
But I go back and he's okay.
Good, good. We can't be too safe. Promise me you won't go back there. Just stay here. No. What did we talk about? You're risking everything we achieved here. You heard me before, didn't
yes,
you?
this is a thing in the game.
Die. What about this isn't getting through to you? Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley. No! Oh, thank God. No. No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you
Poor
doing
narrator.
this?
That's the deal. He's the narrator.
Stanley,
You're
let's
not
go back
listening
to
to
the
the
other
narrator.
My
Poor
God.
guy.
Is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
Lord.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
And the game restarts yet again. Yet again. And again. And again. Cheers, y'all.
All of his co-workers was gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
See, that's the whole new game. I'm not even showing you guys that.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first but eager to get back to business, Stanley
Yeah, I know.
Alt
F4, man. It's the universal AI code for stop thinking.
It's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one. Oh, no, you can't. Did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, it's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you've made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world.
I hope it doesn't crash here, guys.
This helpful
It could.
video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a
Yay,
real
it
person.
works.
But if
Here we
used
go,
incorrectly,
man.
it can
This is
also be the
funny
most
stuff,
dangerous.
guys.
For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Rupert has a choice. He could invent a machine that eliminates food shortages across the world to make life better for all people.
Yay.
Or he could spend years of hard work forgetting how to read. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense. And at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back sack and crack."
I'm supposed to be having a back sack and crack. Is that what he just said? What?
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the
Are you
world,
guys familiar
just
with
remember
this game?
that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Welcome back.
Backtrack and sack
You may
wax.
have noticed that this room has
There's a
begun to
man
deteriorate as a
through the
result of
grave.
narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
I broke the game. Oh, see, now there's a fence there. I can't jump off the side.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
This place is not well equipped to deal with reality. There you go. Sounds about right. Oh, can I get over here yet? No. No. Alright. He is straight up guiding me. You go this way. God damn it. I don't get a choice. Oh, but see. It's weird, man. I'm still in the blue stuff.
You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending. The story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
The joke trooper, yeah.
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late. It's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
Holy crud! Oh, there it went. Oh, that was a brutal one.
I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child.
You're a child.
My story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard to make...
Poor guy.
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief,
tips
Stanley
for not getting
decided to go up to
fired.
his
Talk
boss's
less,
office,
do
hoping he
unbelievable.
might find an answer there.
Everyone is unique. You, most of all. Number of slides on this slide. Charts, slides and slides, and slides. Charts and slides. We're going to rich charts on the same slide depict the same information. Rate of increase in graphics per slide. Please, no more charts, please. The boss. Oh my gosh. These are pretty good here. I gotta admit, that's some comedy gold. Oh, the closet's locked.
Coming to a staircase,
And he won't let me go
Stanley walked
downstairs.
upstairs to his boss's office.
Oh, look. I got this ending. I didn't think about this one. Hold on.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown.
Stanley doesn't
He drew
speak.
a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Poor Stanley.
Stanley spoke the code. Night
Shark 115.
He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
Night Shark 115.
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You
Yes.
didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise, we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Night Shark 115.
Okay,
Doesn't help.
fine. You're not going to do it. But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. You... When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Oh, this is it. I beat the game.
Stanley?
the classic beating of the game, anyways.
Is everything okay?
So we'll let this run for a minute.
Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice.
The end.
I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right?
But I have another ending to get to.
The story
Several.
needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me?
This is considered like the ending. One of the two endings. This is like the ending of the original game, and then I have the original, the big ending of the deluxe today.
I need this. The story needs it. So...
They start playing all kinds of bloopers there and stuff, and it's real funny. But on with the game of the game. That's not quite a game. It's a parable. It's a parable on the human condition. It's a... Oh my gosh, it's wild, man.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
Oh my gosh, there's so much I can do. Like there's Button Heaven, there's but let's do the new content. No, I got one more thing I should show you guys.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I'm gonna follow what the narrator says.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Not the one I'm thinking of. But it is a good ending, I'll give you guys that. Let's watch this. No, let's go do the museum thing. Hold on. Got a better thing to do.
Stepping in.
See, now I gotta go all the way back to my office. And now, here's some clue as to what might be actually happening in this game. You are now leaving. $754. 755. $756. All the same desk numbers. All the exact same layout. Creepy. Escape pod, launch bay. It says some stuff here, most of which I can't read. And here we go, the big escape. Yay, I made it. I escaped. Supposedly. But I do it all again. Stanley, let's go.
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken. No, the orders were still missing. For now.
I think I should show you guys the new content.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
Here you go, guys. This is the Stanley Parable. I was playing 1. This is Parable 2, the start of 2.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra
Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content. Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
Well, you gotta get this to the right floor and stuff, right? Hello?
Is it broken? What's going on here?
Right?
Should we be moving somewhere? Or, oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content.
Okay,
I've never been more ready. Let's do it. I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley. All right. All right, let's see. It's the jump circle. Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
You'd hope so.
Goodness. Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not
I'm not
positive.
positive.
It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh wait, there's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
That's not normal.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's trophies, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test trophy, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such
There's a
expectations.
trophy, I got it.
If you're still
I
with
got
me,
all the trophies.
why don't we just
Yes, that
reset
is a
the
trophy.
game, and we'll try to get back to what the
Test trophy,
Stanley
please
Parable is
ignore.
really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
So what's next on the list here? Oh, wait, what the fuck?
Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
This looks ominous. Suspicious.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past, and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special, and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
I'll be right back, guys.
I call it the memory zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the memory zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap PlayStation port? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste. And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now, a lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content. Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. All they had to do was transport it in pristine condition along to the PlayStation, boom, done. And they couldn't even do that. Couldn't resist the urge to go meddling. These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back to have it all over again.
Zombie, it works out that way because smart people know how to eat. Right. You know. Good fried bologna sandwich and all that jazz, man. Some people think it sounds gross, but just like, he obviously never had it.
Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before.
You're right, tastes like grilled hot dog.
Here? Oh no, God, no, Stanley. It's a collection of reviews from Pressurized Gas, the extremely popular online storefront for computer games. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they? Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Oh, goodness, man. So, then you can't say you don't like it if you haven't tried it. Always true. Exactly. I'm having one of these Mountain Dews I haven't had in fucking years. I'm not supposed to have the processed sugar or the corn sugar or much sugar at all, but anyways. It's a Mountain Dew done with the real sugar as opposed to the corn syrup stuff. And I'm sure that... Look, man, it's fucking America. I'm sure there's corn syrup in it. Water, sugar, and then orange juice. Is really? I'm surprised. And then citric acid and natural flavors. Caffeine, sodium citrate. All that other crap. But really, it's just mostly water, sugar, and orange juice. I'll be damned. I'm sure it's not much orange juice, so it's 90% water and sugar, I'm sure. Mountain Dew, pure sugar.
Well, the
real
idea of the
sugar
game
as
is
opposed
good.
to the corn syrup
Now, for
stuff.
someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I?
Yes, you're
You
preachy,
can
dude.
tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it
How
did.
much fluff he's
Maybe it wasn't.
cut.
Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record.
Unimpeachable.
I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
I'm not a big fan. I'm generally a clear soda guy. If it's going to be a real sweet soda, it's going to be like the Sprite, 7-Up, Sierra Mist, or whatever the equivalent is. Mountain Dew is a unique taste, that's for sure. Like a squirt. And now Faygo is the big sodas that way. Faygo has all kinds of different flavored stuff. Faygo has a cotton candy flavored soda. Blew my mind, man. Like what? That's the crap ICP uses. Yeah. Now there's a soda out west out there, California was. It's called cactus juice. It's a soda flavor. No, it doesn't taste like a cactus. Exactly, but it's own unique thing, and man, it is really good for mixed drinks. I wish I could find it for my store.
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not
right,
if it
yeah,
means we can strike
we'll just do the
these
skip
negative
button.
reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people, and if the... Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games.
Right.
Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Well, there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go,
It's almost 1:30.
and it's all over. Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer.
No, it's almost
that last one was, well, I want to
almost
say
an
maybe
hour.
30, 45 minutes?
45 minutes,
Not
yeah.
unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and
The
just...
door is
wait,
gone.
how do we get out of here? Where did the door go? Wasn't there a door that led into this
Yeah,
room?
the door is
I
gone.
don't feel quite certain that there was one here before. How else would we have gotten into the room in the first place? I don't think one can enter a room without a door of some sort or a... Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer. And my God, there's no way out of the room.
My God,
Stanley,
there's
the
no
door
way
is
out.
gone. It's completely gone. I've looked at it
Oh,
from every
cheers,
angle. I've
guys.
checked every one of those walls 1,000 times. And there's no door, Stanley. There's no door. There's just you and the button, and if you keep pressing it, I have no idea what will happen. I have no idea how long I'll be made to sit here, and more than anything else, I don't... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking, and you saying nothing. Would you think that it's exactly the same as always? Doesn't that feel like what we've already been doing?
Shut up, man.
Hello, it's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have
Well,
had time to
you're
think
here
about
again.
you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stan.
Oh, he's in his own head. He's gone. Oh, what is that? That's not right.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability, it's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising heart the words that they are speaking into the world. As though there were no consequences for a lack of cohesion in one's assessment of others. But of course, absolutely anyone can leave a review. So here's what we get. We get these demands that seek everything and are accountable to nothing. We get a world where someone...
Wow. He's gone again.
The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end.
There it is.
Never the end, is never the end.
We broke the narrator. He's absolutely flipped his stuff, man.
The end is never the end, is never the
I think,
end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end,
Yep.
is never the end.
Yep, we made him crazy.
End is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the...
Now, somewhere, I have a lighter. There it is. Uh-oh. Place is falling apart. The building is collapsing, apparently. And it's too dark to tell what's much more of degradation, if there has been. There you go. Yep, now we're broken. I apparently get placed in a nice little safe time bubble, right? Where nothing can haunt me. Oh, it's over here. Oh, I messed up time good, too. gotta find the thing or else I die. What the fuck, man? No. I didn't make it. I guess I didn't make it. I gotta find the chairs. There's chairs out there. And I missed it. Damn it. Because that gives me the prologue of the game. Damn.
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing.
Oh look, there's new content.
Oh good, you noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Thank you, Mr. Narrator. Dude, I see gumbo on there, man. I got some stuff in the fridge. I can make some gumbo. Oh, I just need a few things from the store. I could make some gumbo. I'll make some jambalaya. That's even better.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra-deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra-deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Yay.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really. Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Exclusive. The button that says your name of the player that is playing the game.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you roleplay as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim.
Jim.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name.
Gotta be Jim.
Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim. Imagine yourself driving to work as Jim, playing frisbee on the weekends as Jim, staying up all night for a popcorn and horror movie sleepover as Jim, developing a crippling substance addiction as Jim, rediscovering yourself through fringe religious groups as Jim, and finally dying a slow death at an old age, surrounded by members of your cult as Jim. Do you feel it in your soul? Are you really, truly Jim right now? If so, then please step forward and press the button.
Jim.
Yes! You see? What a thrill! What a rush! That was you! The button described you. Do it again.
Jim.
It hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal
Too
validation.
emotionally drained.
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature. An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Right. Oh, I gotta do that. That's a whole nother fucking animal. You have to change every single setting. And you have to change all the settings to every single setting possible. Consistent quality with just the right amount of change. New update, ray traced, more of the same, but a good way sequel. Red is the new orange. A whole new office. The baby is all grown up. Please, no screenshots. Want some merch, man. Neither of those am I willing to do right now. Let's go see the
Calling it the
Infinite
Stanley
Hole.
Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Depth infinite rim opening. Infinity hole entrance. Falling. More. Here we go.
Here's an idea that I'm
Infinite holes.
truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium. You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then,
not bad.
since you've gotten to see the
It's working.
hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
Well, I mean, we got time, right? It's infinite.
Okay, Stanley. I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is.
Oh, so it's not
It's
infinite.
an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay,
it's
well,
right there.
good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this
Management
behind
to
us and
everyone.
agree to just call the whole
His meeting
mostly
at 2 p.m.
infinite?
Sincerely,
If that
management.
works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
Every pause button has a Roman number of
Now,
two.
I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel. Oh, for heaven... You see, I was right. The problem
Is you.
The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little
Sure
less
did.
time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole.
How could I
If
have
this
guessed?
starts to become a thing that... Wow.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even
Yes.
by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on
That's
here?
right. Yes.
Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length.
Even for the
Let's
lax.
try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter.
Marketing and
Oh,
standards.
there it is. The shame of my lie has come to haunt me. Not only is the hole not infinite, but it's barely even a hole at this point. It's more of a concavity, or even a very aggressive divot.
Very aggressive divot.
How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on. Is the, teleport button not working? You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again.
Uh-huh. Yep,
Still
it's not
nothing?
working.
Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the whole have a wonderful rest of eternity.
I'm all alone. Oh no. That's ominous sound. Ominous music. What's going on? There you go. Change your perspective. Change your perception. Change your reality.
Stanley! Oh good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them.
Cheers, guys. How psychedelic was that for you?
Toodle pip.
Toodle pip. What a wild thing.
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features. Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test trophy that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the trophy. Yes, you see, you'll come... Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the trophy is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy gamers. We hear you, and I promise it will happen. What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet? Collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Then we just simply move on with our unremarkable lives. Okay.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
We plan on giving you nothing.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with? You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Get Well Someday it is. Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision, we're moving on.
Okay, so I did trophies, I did the whole... I did the button, I did the balloons. We now need the reassurance bucket.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Well, yes, imagine how much of a pain it would be.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more awaits you in the Stanley Parable 2. Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Yes, this game would win, for sure.
All right, have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
I suppose.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, Let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience.
Sure.
Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2. I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind.
Oh, I missed the
Hold on, let me do a
redoing the
different arrangement.
jump circle.
Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own.
I
They
bet
would
you
need
can
the
think of
structure
something,
and the
Mr.
gameplay of
Narrator.
the original. Wait, maybe that's it.
I'll
I
be
can
right
take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look. This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley picked up the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go. Good,
said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
In here,
said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the phone,
said the bucket.
Pick up the phone, and it will take a...
Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket. Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
What is comedic timing? What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes.
Everybody take notes. There will be a test later.
If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny."
Food shopping.
Let's practice screaming,
Yummy.
"I'm Dunny with the funny" now.
I'm Dunny with the funny. I'm Dunny with the funny. I'm Dunny with the funny. I think the first one was better.
Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed line lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence, and who very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared
So
to
what's
give
for
our
breakfast?
lives
What's
to
for
this
dinner?
noble cause,
Food
just as our
chocolate.
children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
Right.
I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we have the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. But I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
No need to overthink things. You're correct. So it's gonna force me back to the two doors. And we'll get to start over from there.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left. What? We're back at the phone already? No, what's going on? There were supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point. A dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off.
Well,
Joke
I
will
messed it
never
up.
land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the two doors room. What an egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think...
He says I can't make it.
I think I need to go back and
Poor guy.
rewatch that instructional video again. Yes, surely that will help me improve my... Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left. What? We're back at the phone already? No. Here we
Gonna
go.
do the same
You ready?
thing, so I gotta go
When
left.
Stanley and the bucket came
I
to a
have
set
to
of
go
two
left.
open doors, they entered the door on the left. No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this is all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though
Yep,
all of your
there we
other
go.
most
That's
prized
the end. That's the big
pale
end.
in comparison. Yes.
Right there.
Let me try that again, Stanley. I heard that you are pale with shame, unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. That's exactly what it is.
That's exactly what it is. I need more instructional videos.
More instructional videos. Let's see.
Well, there you go, guys. The 2 credit endings for the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever.
See?
Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Uh-oh, my broadcast is starting to mess up. My stuff is starting to repeat itself on
Going to a
the
staircase, Stanley
chat.
and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Oh look, there's a Stanley.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Okay.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked
Yes.
the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. Well, that's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. Now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket!
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley! Find me!
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out. This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Thank you for dropping a like, Scrambles. I saw you were live, man. I didn't have a way to get over there. But I appreciate you dropping by.
And walked to her place of work. But on this particular
I'll swing by that
her
stream
walk was
and
interrupted
drop a
by the
like.
body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps
Yes,
he
you
didn't
have to have
even
a bucket.
realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she packed with it all the way to work.
See, buckets are very, very wise, man. Think of the things a Bucket has seen. Buckets have gone through a lot, and they take it all in stride. Everybody has a dark side.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from there, the confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Oh, it's changed. How we can find them. What we know. I'll get this and then I'll head on.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here.
It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies.
It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies.
Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket?
It's just ridiculous
Stanley,
what the broom
I
closet
never
is
liked
saying.
this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I'd never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it. Okay, I got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go. There.
Property of
Now
Stanley.
it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion. Take a hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things. All right, I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slab it on as well because I think it's appropriate. You see? I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket. That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself, "Ah, it's a bucket." There
Yes,
really
we're
is
talking to the
wide
broom
variety of
closet.
applications for this sticker.
About the bucket.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? Or
This is the
what
Stanley
about
Parable Ultra Deluxe
Stanleys?
Edition.
Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
The whole deal is that the narrator trolls you and you gotta try to troll the narrator back, essentially. That's a wild-ass game.
Stepping in.
See, I just escaped. I left the narrator in the room, in the boss's office. I just left the narrator back there, and now I get to escape. My broom closet's dead, see? Trust the completionist instinct. You know there's stuff you want to do in the game, do it. And yeah, so now we get to figure out, once again, what's going on really in the game. A little bit. You are now leaving. There's another deal set up just like my office. The same numbers on all the desks, the exact same layout on multiple floors. And each one is like ruined, wrecked, old and abandoned. See, they're all wrecked in a different way. Escape pod launch bay. Escape. We must make a choice. I'm gonna let you go, Bucket. Shh. Don't say a word. I know it's hard. But you get to go, and I'll stay. I know, don't cry. It's okay, Bucket. It's okay. You go. I'll stay. Such an emotional moment.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others.
No more Bucket.
So the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be?
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between
So what do we call them?
Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley?
Stanlerines.
What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
There's so much to this game. Like if you keep going up and down the elevator, you piss the narrator off. There's
Descending deeper into the building,
so many
Stanley
ways to control
realized he
the
felt a bit
narrator.
peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word Escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. But of course, Stanley thought better of it, and nope, still on board with death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
And does that trigger anything? Nope. So we're just going to go all the way down to the script. I don't need to back and forth so much.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Good grief, man.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell,
And I
Stanley.
can't escape. No escape.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the
Now a
enormous
narrator
metal
narrating the
jaws.
narrator's
In a
narration.
single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
So since
And yet
Stanley's
it would be
dead,
just a
it's
few minutes
different narrator.
before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Opening session to the right corridor has been moved and altered. Because it changes. Different office rooms. Unused buttons. Credits. Blocks and stuff. Text and reviews. What was that? My goodness. No, see, there should be a way to go up in here or something. More Stanley Parable.
Look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail.
Turn off your PlayStation. There's no other way to beat this game.
As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
Replacement bucket.
And try not to lose this one too, you dolt.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's where I'm calling it quits.
And entered the door on his left. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Yes, the game is buckets of fun. And yeah, that picture is what it looks like. Music.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
I can't remember the
Crushed
code
by the
already.
weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire, if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion.
They're exceptionally
and chaos.
stupid,
It would
apparently.
be with him always.
Not as stupid as pandas, or not as stupid as koalas.
The two of them
Koalas
were
are stupid.
inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the pin number for the keypad was 2845.
8.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. $2845.
I think it's eight times. Something like that.
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
I should get on with it.
The
Turtles are
elevator
pretty
raced
nice.
downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him,
Right on.
reassuring that in this darkest
Yeah, I've
moment
always
of
wanted
uncertainty,
African
he would
gray
be
tortoise.
right.
Or,
The bucket
sorry,
is here for you, Stanley.
African spiked
Everything
tortoise.
will be fine.
African spiked tortoise. They're,
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large
Smart
door
little
that
hairs.
read Mind
Live forever, get
Control
huge.
Facility.
yeah, get the space game going. I know you got one coming up with adding English subtitles to.
The lights
More
rose
on
on an
DVDs.
enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Yeah, the African spiked tortoise, you gotta leave that to somebody in his will. And make sure you keep plenty of room, because they get big.
But just as Stanley was about to proceed further into the mind control facility, he tripped and fell over the railing and into the dark void below. Thankfully, he fell directly onto the bucket, which safely cushioned his fall. Now, what to do next, Stanley wondered. Stanley and the bucket could find no way out of this enormous pit, and so eventually they decided that the best thing to do would be to simply get comfortable down here. So they set up a little couch and relaxed. It really wasn't so bad down
Good
here.
reminded you to
Cold, perhaps.
feed the tortoise.
After some time had gone by, they installed a few shelves as well, and a sort of kitchenette that was useful for when the bucket was craving paninis. But it wasn't until the rugs and the standing lamps came in that it really started to feel like a home. In fact, after some time, Stanley realized that it had been ages since he had even thought of the mind control facility at all. He'd never gotten to fully explore what was up there, never been able to unearth the many mysteries of the mind control facility. This lack of closure began to eat at him. Soon he was dwelling on his regrets, and the state of their home slowly decayed as Stanley became withdrawn and neglected the cleaning. It unsettled the bucket deeply. Stanley wasn't usually like this. The bucket tried to reach out to him again and again, but to no avail. All Stanley could think about, all he could talk about, was going back, doing it over again, staying on the path. It was a mistake to leave the path. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I need to do what the narrator says. I need to see the true ending. This made no sense at all to the bucket, which was simply trying to live its life down here as comfortably as possible. Yet Stanley was unconsolable. This isn't an ending. This is just a hole in the ground. The bucket sighed. True, it wasn't an ending. But it's where we happen to be. And maybe, possibly, if we accept the reality of things, maybe this will become an ending eventually. It's what the bucket was counting on. The two of them waited for a very long time.
God, this game, man. And there's so much more I haven't even played yet. Well, I mean, I have. I've played the whole thing, gotten all of it before, but I'm saying currently, this run, there's so much more I haven't gotten to play. So anyways, I'm ending my stream there, everybody. Y'all have a good evening, have a good morning. I will see you guys later.